Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Get Stuck on Sports TV edition right here on Thumb Coast TV. I'm Brady Beedon, he's Dennis Stucky. We just got through week 5 of the high school football season, and let's start with the big one, the Crosstown Showdown, the game you were at on Friday night. Walk us through it. It was a big win for Northern.
Big win for Northern. I'll say this right out. PH played hard, but Northern was the better team on last Friday night, and they won the game convincingly, I thought, 21-7, even though in the fourth quarter it was a one-possession game. But after PH scored on a beautiful throw by Joey Gilbert and a great catch by Reed in the back of the end zone, Northern came right back. They had a big response, and of course, they put it in the hands of their stars. They snapped it to Moreland. He handed it to Watkins on a jet sweep, and he went 50-plus yards for a score that sealed the game. And made it to 21-7. But prior to that, it was 14-0 Northern. They had 3 touchdowns called back in the game. This was not the prettiest game ever played.
This game never usually is, though.
Yeah, there were a lot of penalties and some mistakes. But in the end, it was certainly entertaining. I am certainly not going to question the effort of either team. This is a tough loss for PH. I know they can play better, and I know they will in their upcoming games. I think they'll bounce back this week. And for Northern, huge win. Everybody's chasing them in the blue. What's new?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the offense hasn't been otherworldly, but it's been what it's needed to be. Good enough. It's been fine because the defense has been awesome. I mean, you look, even when they lost their game, they only gave up 3 points. The most they've given up is 22 against a pretty darn good Cousino team. This defense is as advertised, and now the offense, again, is just doing enough that they need to do to win games.
Well, you know, Cam Haryu, I think Benetti has more explosive talent, but Haryu's a Benetti kind of quarterback. He's not really a quarterback, but he runs around back there, buys time, and he's making good decisions right now when to just take off and run with it, and he's dangerous that way, and he's making pretty good decisions of run around, ooh, that guy's open, I can find him and get it to him.
So Northern now 4-1, PH falls to 3-2, and you know, this is kind of where we thought they might be with a little bit of inexperience, but Dennis, you know, at Cousino is going to be a tough game, but I'm not going to tell the Redhawks there's a game they can't win the rest of the way.
No, neither am I. I think that at worst they're 50-50 against any opponent, and against most of what they've got left, they're the favorite.
Yeah, they'll bounce back against Ford at home. They should win that one.
They should win that game, yeah.
Now, Northern maybe slightly a trap game going down to Fraser, but Fraser's not very good. They're 1-4. They played Mott kind of tough last week, but that's a game Northern should go and dominate.
Fraser's going to have a very hard time scoring in that game.
Yeah, I mean, if Fraser doesn't score to begin with, I mean, they've only really, outside of Sterling Heights, they've scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
No.
And
Sterling Heights doesn't stop anybody.
No, and they only scored 38 on Sterling Heights, which is actually kind of a low number for what Sterling Heights is. So I think both those teams will get another win this week as well. Marysville did what we were hoping and expecting them to do. They went down to St. Clair Shores, played Lakeshore, and a 39-0 win took care of business.
This is exactly what I wanted to have happen for the Vikings and thought could happen. Let's face it, they're much better than their 3-2 record, but I think they've played a couple of tough opponents already this season. So that's kind of what I'm working on, and this is the week where they can get it done. They have to play a tough game. I'd like to see them win this game, especially at home, and move on from there.
Yeah, Dennis referring to they're playing Lamphere at home, who's 4-1. They just had their first loss of the season to Fitzgerald, where Fitzgerald has back-to-back shutouts. And Marysville, that loss to Fitzgerald, on the one hand, again, we've talked about it. Man, you were right there. You had the game won, and you let it slip through your fingers. But as this goes on, this tells me that was a good benchmark to say this Marysville team is pretty darn good.
Yeah, again, I like their defense, and I think each week their offense has shown us a little bit more and gotten a little bit stronger, and I think they're rounding into form. This would be a good week to prove that.
Lamphere at home now. They can't really. The odds of them getting a MAC Gold title are slim. Fitzgerald has already played the tough part of their schedule. I don't think Fitz is going to lose at Tower or at Grosse Pointe North.
No, not likely. Although, I mean, Grosse Pointe North, as Marysville found out, not a gimme, but a game that Fitz should win.
That's a game that you might be able to hope for because it's not going to be against Tower.
Yeah, no, Tower's not going to stop Fitz.
The big disappointment this week, we have to be honest, St. Clair went down to Centerline and lost 21-20. I know Centerline is not what East Point and Sterling Heights are, and they were 3-1 coming into this game, but wasn't a very strong 3-1. And St. Clair falls by a point in this one.
Yeah, I was pretty rough with St. Clair on Friday because I was pretty angry. But I mean, in retrospect, they don't want excuses. I know Coach Z doesn't want moral victories, but they're banged up and key people, and it's hard to win without your horses. But I really expected St. Clair to win this football game. So and they clearly had a shot to. They only lost by a point. Get it done.
Yeah, they lose 21-20. That was the score at halftime. So the defense actually did their part, which is really the first time you could say that this year. The offense, again, no Ben Farkas. Tyrus Starr's been out since the start of the year. They had another captain get ejected from this game, I think, in the second quarter. So
you can't have that.
No, you're losing
when you're in the situation that they're in, you need your guys out there. So you got to control yourself.
So now St. Clair at 2-3, they have to win their next three to have a shot at the playoffs. And even then it gets a little dicey because if they won this one, they were sitting pretty 6-3, no doubt about it, gets them in. Southlake at Sterling Heights, home to Hazel Park, at Northern, their final four. At Northern's is not going to be an easy game.
No.
So the other three are must-wins.
Must-wins, and the first two they should get. The Hazel Park game is not a cinch.
No.
Hazel Park's played well this year, and I know they're a bronze team and yada yada, but Hazel Park has played well. That's going to be a difficult game. Hazel Park did make the playoffs last year, and it looks like they brought back most of that team because they played like a playoff team this year so far.
Hazel Park, they're 4-1. Their only loss is an 8-point loss at Marysville.
Yeah. Like I say, that's not a slam dunk. The next 2 weeks be very like the Saints have more injuries than I know about if they don't win the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, like Southlake isn't as bad as Sterling Heights, but Southlake shouldn't come up to East China Stadium and get the win.
No.
Because they just came back from East China Stadium where they lost 56-18 to Marine City, kind of as expected.
Yeah, fourth straight week the Mariners go 50 or better. Their offense is just rolling right now. They've got three guys back in that backfield that are creating havoc. Volkman at quarterback. Osterland's having a great season. And then you throw in, who is it, Holden?
Holden, you have.
Yeah.
There's a few others. He's kind of been the second half guy.
Yeah, and he's been marvelous. And we didn't even know his name coming into things. And it seems like every week he's getting 120 or better.
And Marine City, they're not going to lose at Sterling Heights. They're not going to lose at home to East Point. No. They're going to be 6-1 in Week 8 when Notre Dame Prep comes to town.
Brady is going to ignore them until then.
I mean,
and I probably am too.
They could win these next two games 200-0 if they
wanted to. Yeah.
Like if we're being honest, there's no reason why these two teams should be on the same field.
No, they could combine these two teams and lose 100-0 too.
So yeah, it's not because I don't like Marine City. It's because there is no intrigue. Yeah. There is a 0% chance they lose this game if they show up and kick the ball off.
Yeah, and the game will be over at the end of the first quarter.
Yes. There's just not a lot to talk about. Their schedule was front-loaded with Armada and St. Clair, and I guess at Centerline is a better win now than we thought. We knew weeks, 3 or 4, 5, and 6 were going to be whatever, up to 7 as well. And then at the end, Notre Dame Prep and Marysville, we're going to talk about them a lot in those two.
Yes.
Real quick, before we take a break, Cardinal Mooney, they are struggling. They fell to Our Lady of the Lakes 35-0 on the road.
Yeah, Lakes has actually played pretty well this season. After several down years, they seem to have a better team. I guess if we're looking for positives, it was the best defensive performance by Mooney this season.
It is. When you're banged up and you're young, you're looking for things to improve on, and you know what? That's a small victory, but you got to try to find something to be positive about. All right, that'll do it for all the MAC action. We'll go take a look at the BWAC, including two teams now 5-0, trying to vie for first place. Some thumb action as well. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Get Stuck on Sports TV edition right here on Thumb Coast TV.
From doctor's appointments to work, shopping, and dining adventures, Blue Water Area Transit buses are the lifeline of our community. Depend on us for a ride that connects you to life's essentials. Blue Water Area Transit. Ride the wave.
Riding the bus will avoid the hustle and save you lots of dough. Road rage, don't chance it. Ride Blue Water Transit everywhere you go.
Welcome back to the Get Stuck on Sports TV edition right here on Thumb Coast TV. Brady Beedon, Dennis Stucky. Let's go to the BWAC, where it's really shaken out that there's a top three and there's everyone else. We'll start with Richmond. They've been the story of the season so far. They are now 5-0. Dennis, in a ultimate trap spot after beating Armada, they demolish North Branch 37-7, and it wasn't that close.
You know, and I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about this, because I knew Richmond's good. I've seen them. They're good. It's legit. But what in the world has happened to North Branch?
That I can't tell you. From Richmond's perspective, they came in and they moved the ball early, but North Branch's defense, where the Broncos' defense struggles, is deep passing. Like, Richmond took probably 8-9 shots down the field. They hit on 3 of them. But when Richmond got towards the red zone and the field condensed and that deep threat wasn't there, they held them to a field goal the first possession. The second time it was like pulling teeth. They finally got in the end zone on a QB sneak, but it wasn't easy for Richmond. It was 17-0 at half, and that's not a insurmountable lead. But Richmond got the ball to start the second half, went right down the field and scored, and basically gave the knockout shot. North Branch, I didn't have the official numbers. I bet you they didn't have more than 75 yards of offense, and I bet you 30 of it came on the final drive. I think they had 4 first downs in this game, and the touchdown came on a kickoff return that the ball actually bounced around for a bit, so everyone lost their lane integrity. Spiz picks it up, goes around the edge, and returns it 93 yards, so North Branch doesn't get shut out. But Dennis, that was maybe the most complete defensive game I've seen a team play in our 6 years doing this.
Yeah, so in my mind, Richmond has kind of taken over the spot North Branch used to own in the BWAC, and North Branch has become Richmond.
Yeah, they've kind of fallen back. North Branch, it was weird. You can only tell so much from the press box, but it just didn't seem like they had that back against the wall mentality where they had to get it done. I mean, some guys stood out, like Gorman made some nice plays offensively and defensively, but it just felt like they were there for a football game. Like, I didn't see anything that told me they were quitting or hanging their heads, but there wasn't anything that they went, man, we have to win this game. When they got down, it was kind of like, all right, well, Richmond's pretty good, they got us. And Richmond took advantage of that, and the Blue Devils continue to impress and pass every test we put in front of them with flying colors. Yeah,
they've really had a terrific season, and it might be one of those magical years, because that's a good team. That defense is legit. And, they've got enough weapons, and Benetti's a game breaker.
And defensively, Gage Towner is someone that everyone should talk about.
Yes.
He's the Mike linebacker. He makes
talk
every
about
play.
Him just because of the hair. I wish we didn't have helmets in football just so you could see Gage's hair.
I mean, he flies around. He makes great plays, and that's because he has other guys around him that can also make plays. I mean, Logan Evans is a disruptor. That whole defensive line they have are disruptors. Buson's another linebacker that makes plays. They have guys all over that defense, and that's why through 5 weeks they've given up 53 points.
It's really tough to run between the tackles against Richmond. Mm-hmm. And then when you try to bounce it outside, they seem to be quick enough defensively that they get to the ball. They're really hard to run against.
So Richmond, big win over North Branch, again, 37-7. They have won every game except the Armada game by 3 scores, which
That's pretty impressive.
they don't just win. They kind of, and it's not where they get up to 28-0 in the first quarter. They're like a boa constrictor, just tightening and tightening. And before you know it, you look up and you go, we have 1 touchdown. We need 3 more if we want to be in this game.
Yeah, and they've got another week before they have to play Almont in what we think might be for the league title.
Well, and I think Almont, I know Croslex is down this year. And unfortunately for Almont, their biggest tests are...
I was nervous about this game.
Yes, are in weeks 6 and 7. But Croslex was coming off a big win over North Branch. Now, seeing the Broncos kind of makes sense how that could have happened. But Almont, it was a tight game for a bit, but then they reminded everyone that, hey, they're Almont, they're 5-0 too. You can still talk about them, even though Richmond's been the story. Almont has been just as good.
I was worried about their D, and they had a big game because Croslex can throw the ball. And again, it's not... because I haven't seen the other games, but in week 1, Marysville hit a couple of long passes on them, and I'm like, ooh, there might be something Croslex can do in this game. But Almont had a big game. They keep scoring 38 points. That's actually one of their lower scoring efforts since week 1. I think it's their lowest scoring effort since week 1.
We had 31 against Emily City.
Yeah, Almont did a lot of things in this game to remind me that they're Almont.
And it was a nice win. They didn't come out of the gates fast. Like Croslex had a fight for a little bit, but they just kept pulling away and made winning plays. And Almont's 5-0, and they're looking to battle Armada this week. They host Armada, then go to Richmond. They will decide whether they get all of the BWAC title, half the BWAC title, or none of the BWAC title
in the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Because those are going to be the 2 biggest games for Almont. As Armada, they bounced back with a 42-27 win at Yale. Let's talk about Armada first because they needed that bounce-back win. Now they go to Almont. They can re-enter themselves in this BWAC title conversation. They need help, but they have to go to Almont and get a win first.
Yeah, and this was a battle last year down at Armada, and I thought Armada was a better team for most of that game, and then Almont snuck it out. They had Winkler score on a crazy 2-point play, and you sat there scratching your head going, how in the world did Almont win this game? I'm very interested to see how this game goes, because the league aside, I think Armada needs a win here pretty desperately, and it's been a few years since we've used desperate and Armada in the same sentence. But I just think that right now people are going, ooh, Richmond, shiny. Ooh, Almont, shiny. They're both 5-0. And people are kind of going, Armada's still good, but they're not shiny right now. They need a shiny game.
So what does this mean for Yale? I mean, they had this in a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, and Richmond scored to pull away. But Yale has been knocking on the door against some good teams. I mean, they were in a battle with Almont. They've been in a battle with Armada. They're 2-3. What are the Yale Bulldogs? I mean, Rhodes threw for over 200 yards in this game. He ran for, I don't think, quite 100, but he was pretty darn good in his starting debut as a freshman.
Yeah, well, they're a lot better than we thought they were, but they're still not quite there to play with the big boys this season. However, Yale becomes an interesting team because whoever is playing against them from week to week know they're going to have to play a good game, because if you slack off, Yale, that might be one of those weird BWAC scores that you get where you didn't think a team was going to lose, and there was Yale to beat them.
Well, Yale hosts North Branch this week. It's actually their final home game of the regular season. Is Yale the favorite in this one?
You know, it's hard to say right now that they're not. And a couple of weeks ago, there's no way we would have picked them as the favorite. We would have said that's a win for North Branch. They're going to go now. Not so sure.
It's at Yale Park. I mean, that's a game that Yale could win. And if they do,
Yale can throw the ball.
That sets them up beautifully for the postseason. If they can win 3 of their last 4, home to North Branch, at Algonac, at Croslex, at Flint Powers. Algonac and Powers have combined to win 1 game. North Branch, we just mentioned, is kind of in free fall. And Croslex isn't had any great shakes this year either, outside of one win against North Branch. So really, there's 4 wins between these last 4 opponents. You can go 3-4. Yale's dancing in the postseason, no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's an achievable goal.
I would say so as well. Other game in the BWAC that we didn't talk about, Emily City beats Algonac 22-6 to go to 2-3 on the year.
This is kind of the way we expected this game to go. Emily City is another one of those teams. Their defense has been really good this year, and I figured they'd have enough punch to get by Algonac. They've really been struggling to score.
Yeah, and Emily City's defense has actually been on the stronger side. They've held some good teams to low numbers. Like Richmond only scored 21 against them. That's their season low. Or sorry, that was Yale. But they play Richmond this week. Emily City has held teams to low numbers this season, and it's been pretty impressive from the Spartans. Like Almont scored 31. You mentioned that's their lowest in BWAC play this season. They held Yale to 14, who put up 34 and 27 against Almont and Armada, teams we respect. So Emily City's doing something right out there.
Yes.
They got the win there. Richmond this week, Croslex next, Armada the week after. All at home, but 3 tough opponents.
3 tough opponents, but I think there's at least one more win in there for Emily City if they work hard, play good defense, and maybe get an explosive play somewhere on offense. It's the wide receiver. The stage is having a great season for them, and we should recognize that too a little more. He scores most of their touchdowns.
They don't score a lot, but when they do, it's usually Lestage. All right, let's go up to the thumb, rattle through these real quick. Harbor Beach does what Harbor Beach does. I mean, wasn't really a surprise. They beat USA 52-6.
Yeah, and going into that game, USA had played well, but they hadn't played Harbor Beach.
Harbor Beach has been an absolute wagon. I mean, there's nothing else to say. They play Marlette, who just lost at Reese. After starting off 1-0, the Raiders have lost 4 straight. They're going to lose 5 straight.
That's probably another 50-burger for Harbor Beach.
Ubley beat Vassar at home 36-22. They go to Reese after this one.
Yeah, I actually thought Ubley would win this game by maybe another touchdown or 2. I don't think they're quite as strong as they were, but they're certainly still better than teams like Vassar.
I feel bad for Sandusky because I don't think they're a bad football team.
They just played a super tough schedule.
They've lost to Saginaw Novell, they've lost to Millington, and they just lost to Cass City 41-7. They're going to go to Lakers and probably lose to the undefeated Lakers squad. And they're going to be 2-4, and they're going to be pretty darn good.
Yeah. Can they sneak into the playoffs? Is there anything
on
their
3
schedule that gets them 5-4?
To get them to 5-4 at Caro, at USA, home to Reese.
And all of
winnable games.
All winnable games, but all of those teams have actually improved this year and have played decent.
Yes, but compared to the
got to get those wins.
But Caro, USA, and Reese are nothing compared to Millington, Cass City, Laker, Novell, and even a decent Burton Bendel team that's been the one respectable team over there.
Yeah.
Let's go to 8-man in the Big Thumb Blue. Brown City loses for the second straight week to Kingston, 48-20. Brown City, good, just not elite this year.
It looks that way. Their 2 biggest games of the regular season, and they got beaten both. But now this says, how good is Kingston, and do they have a chance to beat Deckerville? Who's the best team in that league? And usually it's a 3-team race, but with Brown City losing both those games, it's a 2-team race now.
Deckerville handled business at Mayville 58-14. Not a surprise there.
No. Deckerville was going to win that game just if they showed up.
Dryden scores 58 points against K-Pac and loses by 2 scores. K-Pac beat Dryden 72-58. 130 points scored in this one, and only one of them were non-offensive touchdowns.
Did you actually look it up? Because you're going to look up and see the last time K-Pac basketball scored 72
I did not. It's
points.
probably been a while. 72 is a lot, and all but one was an offensive touchdown.
Wow.
That's a lot of offense for them. Memphis hosted Bad Axe, a more respectable score, but lost 36-21.
Yeah, Bad Axe got off to a hot start. They've cooled off a little bit, but this was a game I thought they'd win.
All right, in the Big Thumb Red, you know what? I'm going to say this is an improvement with a young CPS team. They lost to Caseville 52-6 the first time. They only lose 58-28 this time. Again, a team that I think has 19 kids and about a dozen of them are freshmen.
Yeah, they've at least, offensively, I think they've gotten better. They just can't stop anybody.
And Peck goes to 4-1 with a 44-6 win over Akron Fairgrove.
Sounds actually to me like Peck took it easy on Akron Fairgrove.
Yeah, this was as expected.
Yeah.
This was very much as expected. Well, that'll do it for this week of the Get Stuck on Sports TV edition for Dennis Stuckey. I'm Brady Beedon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week right here on Thumb Coast TV.